Greetings, Benjamin J. from BENZTRAINZ with another in the series. What you're looking at is a Marx 666, freshly oiled as you see, and by tomorrow this oil will have soaked in and really rejuvenated this paint. Now this was a wreck. I did a video on this some time ago. I got a box of parts, and in the box of parts was a 666 body shell, and it was missing the entire front cowling, was missing the motor, it was missing the trucks, it was missing everything. So it was just an old Hulk. And I wanted to see if there was an easy way to mount a standard motor in it. So you notice it has a pre-war motor. I just happened to have this motor and did some experiments, and I discovered that if you take off the front crossbar and turn it around backwards, the holes, the mounting holes, will line up perfectly with the shell. So it's an instant way to install a single reduction motor in a Marx 666 body. Now, the entire front cowling was missing, so it was just a big empty hole. And I looked on eBay, and a front cowling for a 666 is $8, $12, something like that. So there's a little hobby shop downtown, so I went to, and I knew he had a box of Marx parts, just a shoe box full of old junk parts. And I asked him if he had a 666 front cowling. And he said no, but he had a 1666 front cowling. So that's what I've mounted on here, a 1666 front cowling. And the screw pattern is different. On a 1666, the screw hole is back here. So I just taped it in place, got it lined up, taped it in place, and just drilled 2 new holes to match the existing holes in the body. So I have a complete 666 made out of junk, made out of literal trash, and spent $4 on that cowling, spent virtually nothing on the shell itself because it came in a box of parts, and I had the pre-war motor. And so all I've done, like I said, is you pull off the front mounting bar, because with the front mounting bar, the screws are up here, and it will not fit because the 666 uses a cast iron or a cast zinc front motor mount for the smoker. And obviously this is not a smoker. But I found a way to mount this single reduction motor in here pre-war just by turning the front crossbar around and sticking it in place, and it brings the holes back and it lines up absolutely perfectly. No muss, no fuss, no modification. And then the 1666 cowling, I just mounted it and then hardwired it to the motor and oiled it, and it's been sitting for probably since I built it. So just thought I'd take it around the track, just oiled it. So by tomorrow, this is going to be a really nice looking 666. Is it correct? No, it is not. It's missing the front truck, it's missing the rear truck, it was missing the motor, it was missing the cowling. So it was basically just junk. So found a way to mount that motor in it, replaced the front cowling with a 1666 cowling, re-drilled the holes, mounted it, and you would never know that this was an old junk engine. A layman would never know that the front and rear trucks are missing at all. And the nice thing about that is even with this pre-war single reduction motor, there's enough weight in this 666 body that it will pull virtually anything. So I found a nice tender to put on it, a nice big tender, and pulling 20 plastic cars. So there's a substantial amount of weight behind this engine, and it's pulling it with absolutely no problem at all. So let me turn the power on, and let's take this around and see how it runs. It's been sitting for weeks. And here we go. So as you see, it runs perfectly. It's having no trouble at all pulling that load, and it's currently running at 50% power. So a Marx pre-war motor, single reduction, retrofitted to fit a 666 body and added a 1666 front cowling, and it gives you a running engine for almost nothing. That front cowling, that light cowling, was $4. I had the motor, and the body itself came in a box of parts, missing everything. And like I said, is it correct? No. Is it proper? No. It's made out of mixed parts. The thing is, it's sitting here running, and it's pulling a good heavy load with absolutely no trouble at all. So this is what makes it fun, is being able to take old junk, literally old junk, and a few minutes work, and you can retrofit parts to it and get these things up and running. And like I said, I just oiled the paint, so by tomorrow this paint will have soaked in, and this is going to be a really nice looking 666. Like I said, is it proper? No. Is it correct? No. It's made out of a bunch of mixed parts, but it's running. It looks nice, and it's pulling virtually anything you could ask it to pull. Really difficult to beat that. So don't overlook the junk, and don't be afraid to experiment. I knew nothing about retrofitting these parts, and it was just trial and error. And now that I know how, it's a snap. 5-minute job, and you can put a single reduction motor in any Marx 666 just by turning that front crossbar around. Nothing else, just turning the front crossbar around. Really, really simple. And it looks nice, it runs well, and it costs almost nothing. And as I stress, you can do this on a shoestring just by doing simple things like this. And it gives you a running engine that's capable of pulling a substantial load, and it costs you virtually nothing. So, as always, if you have any questions, feel free to drop me an email, BENZTRAINZ@gmail.com. And as always, thank you for watching.